Alright everybody, now here we are again at our build planning phase before the league starts. And first of all, I'd like to thank the guys over at the POB Fort community for, making the new passive tree accessible to us so quickly. I mean, that has been amazing, so I thank you. Thank you. You guys are literal God. Right, so speaking about gods, I'm not gonna go into mythology anyway, so don't worry about that. We are gonna go, or I have decided to go on this build. We are gonna go with an Inquisitor because, I feel comfortable with Inquisitors. And number two, I know how Crackling Lance works, pretty much. So that's what we're gonna go for. And the numbers look pretty okay. So as you can see, we are at level 82 right now. So I mean, don't worry, even if we bring this down to level 82, nothing is gonna matter so much with the damage. Only the life is gonna be different because of the natural scaling that you get with your attributes, right? So to give you a quick rundown of the tree, we are just basically gonna go up to here, some intelligence, retribution, your basic Templar style of pathing. And then we're gonna go down here and get Constitution to have a little bit more life. And I decided to go with Iron Will because, it's 1 point for 105,000 damage. And I'm like, you know what? As a steal. So yes, I'm so happy that they've already incorporated Iron Will again. So basically, any spellcaster that we do that will have some form of strength can benefit from this. So after we go down there, we're gonna go over here to the left. We're gonna get combat stamina and get flat 600 armor while affected by a guard skill buff, so that our molten shell is gonna be pretty nice. And then we're gonna have a life mastery with vitality, reservation efficiency inside the tireless cluster. And then we're gonna go up to Sanctum of Thought, which is gonna have us extra armor and energy shield and reduced damage from crits, so that's gonna be pretty powerful. And we're gonna try this new mastery out, which is gonna give us +1 armor per 1 maximum energy shield on helmets. And I think this is actually gonna be pretty okay, because that basically means that, if you get 300 energy shield hubris circlet, you're also gonna get 300 armor. And that's actually what we're gonna try and go for. And then we're going to try out the new keystone as well, the Divine Shield, which means that 3% of the physical damage prevented from our hits recently is regenerated as energy shield. Now, the specific part where it says cannot recover energy shield to above armor, I'm pretty much assuming at this point that it means that we cannot regenerate more than 13,821 worth of energy shield. Whether or not that's going to be on cooldown, or like whether or not it's going to be within the buff of the Divine Shield, we don't know. So that's why we're going to try that out. Then we're going to climb up here, get some staff notables, and into the staff mastery we're going to get increased defenses while wielding a staff. Then devotion along with the flat life, and then divine judgment for increased elemental damage because we don't crit. Arcane Capacitor because we're using Arcane Surge as a link, and having clarity, reservation efficiency. And then we'll climb up here, get some ailment duration reduction along with anointed flesh. Gonna be really juicy. Quick recovery with increased life and reduced life recovery rate, although I wouldn't worry about that too much. I mean, our life regen is looking pretty nice right now. And then up here for mental rapidity to have some cast speed and mana regen along with maximum intensity. Elemental overload, yes. Crackling speed has been moved here to the left, so that's definitely going to be beneficial for us. And then Heart of Thunder, where we're going to have some lightning damage and lightning pen, along with the lightning damage with non-crits is lucky. Basically, the supercharge notable has been placed as a mastery, so it's going to be pretty interesting. And then towards the end, we're just gonna get, your basic, your basic crossing here to get melding, where we gain 3% of our maximum life as extra max energy shield. So that's gonna be a nice thickening of our layer of defenses. And then nimbleness, just for the cast speed, because that's 3 6, and then basically 14% increased cast speed, I think. Yeah, 40%. 14? 12. But yeah, a little bit above 10. But I mean, this is still under speculation anyway, because we can just drop that and, for example, go with Enigmatic Defense, where we have spell damage while wielding a staff, and Cruel Preparation, or maybe even go for Infused Flesh, where the damage that we take is recouped as life, you know? Very interesting options that we can go for. Right, so for our Ascendencies... Oh, before we go there though, we are just gonna have this as our final go-to, like after, you know, we've gotten all our passives, and then, you know, once we've started gaining some currency, we're gonna go with a lightning damage large cluster with non-damaging ailments medium clusters, and then small jewel sockets which will have lightning damage, cast speed, life, and some resistances. And that's gonna round out our build to 100. So for the Ascendencies, we're gonna go with a Sanctuary and Pious Path. I mean, they did buff the Consecrated Ground, so let's see how much of a buff it's going to be. And then we're gonna go with Instruments of Zeal, because, you know, we can't go with Inevitable Judgment, although we could alternatively go to Righteous Providence and Augury of Penitence. As you can see here, we can indeed do that, right? But with Fanaticism applied, it's still going to be way higher. So we're just gonna stick to Fanaticism. Right, now for the items, we're gonna go with an Agnorod West. Hopefully it won't be as expensive during the start of the league, but, you know, either way, we're gonna have no problem. Then next, if we can get a Pledge of Hands, that's what we're gonna try and go for. And then lastly, we're gonna go for a rare staff, which will have more spell damage, increased spell damage. Yeah, basically, like, this is gonna be like our end game staff that we are gonna try and craft ourselves. You know, increased effect with Wrath, beautiful cast speed, beautiful spell damage. Once we have that, you know, that's gonna increase our damage by a lot. So basically, we have 2 unique items to step into. And then a Hubris Circlet, pretty much a no-brainer, right? That. And then our build, or our core item, rather, is going to be DORYANI'S Prototype. Now, I was kind of iffy at first, you know, like, how am I gonna get this to work? Because, you know, I didn't know how DORYANI'S Prototype works. Now, actually, what it does is actually really amazing. You basically just have to bring your lightning resistance as low as possible, and then scale your armor as high as possible so that your armor will also apply to lightning resistance. That is basically how it works. And when I discovered it, I thought, well, fuck yeah. And then next, we're gonna have some Energy Shield gloves, which is gonna be the fingerless silk gloves. This is just a template, you know, basically trying to incorporate any missing resistances that we have. And then Titan Greaves, same thing. Missing armor, missing fire, cold, and chaos. And then we're gonna go with another build boosting item. This is not going to be the core item though, but it's going to be a tremendous boost. Is Choir of the Storm, because it will decrease our lightning res and increase our lightning damage. We don't even care about the crit strike because we don't crit anyway. And then, you know, maybe the trigger lightning bolt is going to be okay, but we'll see. Mark of the Shaper, pretty easy spell damage, so, you know, maybe if we can get ourselves a better ring in the future, try and see. And then just a regular opal ring that is Elder Influence to help get the 80% increased spell damage. I mean, this basically isn't too rippy or like too OP anyway. It just has cast speed, energy shield, percent energy shield, life. You know, this is something that would actually maybe cheap, because you know, it's gonna have energy shield and life. You know, not a lot of people will have or like will desire a mix of that, but we do. And then Immortal Flesh as our leather belt, because it's gonna decrease our lightning resistance. So that basically means lightning resistance is gonna be really juicy for those enemies. And then, of course, you know, good life, good life regen, good mana regen, and increased armor while not ignited, frozen, or shocked. So as long as we don't have those ailments applied to us yet, we are gonna have a better layer of defense for physical damage and our lightning damage. And once that gets decreased anyway, we'll still be pretty durable. So as you can see here, for flasks, just a rumies and then just a silver flask, that's gonna be great. But as you can see, a silver flask of quickening is gonna be our best flask to go to for our damage. And then of course the bottled faith. The bottled faith is just gonna be there once we, have our chase pace, I guess. Once we already have enough currency for that, Okay, so for the links, we're gonna go with the Crackling Lance, of course. Awakened lightning damage, no brainer. Flat damage, lightning spell skill gems. Intensify, of course, the spell intensifies. Awaken control destruction, yes, because we can also unnerve enemies once we gain a level 5 awakened control destruction, so it's going to be great for us. And then an arcane surge, of course, so that we can get a little bit more spell damage, more mana regen. That's going to be pretty nice. And then spell echo, because of course that's what we're going to go for. And then I think we're going to go with an anomalous spell echo, like during the mid phase, but during the very beginning maybe we can just go for a corrupted level 21 spell echo. That's going to be perfect. For our auras, we're going to run Wrath, Skitterbot's Clarity, Enlighten, and Vitality. That's still going to give us a pretty decent amount of unreserved mana. I mean, we are going to have mana regen that's going to be a little bit higher than our unreserved mana and our mana cost as well. So, there is going to be a good chance that we will be able to sustain this. If we can't, we'll just do some tweaks. There is always going to be room for tweaking. I mean, we may even replace Arcane Surge with Inspiration. I mean, we're still not sure. So yeah, we can still get all of those auras in. Lightning Bolt is going to come from Choir of the Storm. Volatile Anomaly from Shaper's Mark. Smite, of course, is going to be there because it's a buff for lightning damage. Not sure if we were going to add faster attacks. Maybe we will. And then Molten Shell with Empower and Enhance, because it's going to buff Molten Shell's capabilities. And of course we're going to go with the Anomalous version so that we can gain even more durability. And then lastly we're going to have a Ancestral Warchief with level 1 Calling Strike, Hex Touch, and Punishment as our skill. Now why Punishment? It is because with DORYANI'S prototype, it will not care about the curses that you can apply to the enemy when it comes to lightning res. So I have tried it earlier with conductivity and elemental weakness. Doesn't work. DORYANI'S prototype overrides that. So we're just gonna go with punishment instead, because cursed enemies will take 78% increased damage while on low life. That's gonna be really, really hurtful. I'll show you in a bit. Now, for example, we've done it. We've got to a pretty high amount of levels. We've been rushing things now. We've finished that whole cluster. As you can see, we're at level 100 now. Our damage is pretty nice, having 3.7 million Citus DPS. So what's gonna happen now is that we're gonna show you the damage once we gain our buffs. So oh yeah, I already forgot. Our Choir of the Storm will have Disciple of the Slaughter for having that extra frenzy charge. So we will apply frenzy charge here and just one. So there we go. Just for the sake of. Oh, I mean, okay, so that's already there. All right. All right. So what is going to happen is that the if we get Awakened Control Destruction to level 5, we will unnerve. They will be automatically shocked anyway. We don't need to tick that. And then if the enemy is on consecrated ground, without Bottled Faith yet, mind you. Okay. Oh my god, I misclicked everything. And then lastly, if we have Fanaticism working, boop, that is going to be our main Citus DPS, which is actually pretty good, right? 8 million Citus DPS with, relatively simple items, which I feel are not going to be that expensive anyway to get. So that's going to be pretty exciting. And then, of course, you know, if we get the Bottled Faith, then boom, we're going to have that. And then, of course, lastly, once Cirrus is already at low life and he's already, you know, going you along for non-existence on us, punishment will apply. So we will be dealing 11 million damage once he is already at half health. And that'll basically apply to every boss, you know, that we will go for. 78% increased damage is really nice. And we also have to take note that we still haven't seen the curses that will increase the effect of punishment, because eventually maybe we could go with that instead. You know, we can drop Arcane Capacitor, change out something else for the mana reservation, and then put Inspiration instead of Arcane Surge, put in, you know, put in the curse effect here with punishment increased effect. There is still so much room for increasing the damage. And you know, even if we get our Mirror Tier staff, bam, that's gonna be 13 million damage close, all the while having an effective hit pool of 55,000 for both physical and lightning, with a maximum hit taken of 38,000 while Molten Shell is up. So don't worry, I know I'm not overestimating anything, you know. And then, of course, cold res is still pretty low because it still hasn't been maxed out yet, but our lightning res is negative 115. And then fire res is beautiful, chaos res is juicy. So yeah, that is it. That is, I think, one of the most interesting and most fun builds that I'm going to make ever, aside from the Crackling Lance Aura Stacker that I've made. So yeah, very beautiful, very amazing. Can't wait to try it out. So, you know, I mean, if you guys want to try it out, by all means, tell me if you want to. I'll paste the POB paste bin in the comments. I'll pin it for you so that you can copy the POB and, you know, try it out yourself if you want to. I mean, I wouldn't say that, you know, this will be the game-breaking build, but, you know, this is gonna be definitely gonna be a fun build. So yeah, I mean, I hope this has helped you like gain inspiration on your own build as well. You know, maybe you can say that, oh, you can go with here, maybe you can go with there, you know. There's still a lot that you can go for. There's a passive mastery, there's a life mastery that you can go for here. Be wary of these masteries, you know. Be mindful of where they are, because you may be skipping them when you would actually need them. So yeah, that has been it. I mean, I can't wait for the league start. I can't wait to be disappointed in my build. So yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching up to this point, and I shall be seeing you all pretty soon, eh? Oh yeah.